Hi guys, my name is Rohit and I have been working in the data science and AI field from last 10 years. In my previous role, I was chief data scientist at Barclays. In last 3 to 4 years, I have taken more than 100 interviews for hiring data scientists. And in today's video, I would tell you why people mainly get rejected during a data science interview. What is the main blocker for cracking that data science interview? So all my experience I am going to share with you in today's video. Let's get started. So when you apply for any data science role, in most of the cases, your first interview is the Python coding interview. And what I have seen from my experience is 6 out of the 10 candidates, they get rejected in this Python coding stage itself. And I have taken a lot of real as well as the mock interviews in last few years. And even if you give simple or medium level problems to students or working professionals who are trying to get into data science, they are not able to solve it without checking the syntax. That is the main problem. When you are studying data science, when you are studying Python coding, you would see that when you are stuck with any kind of a code or when you are stuck with any kind of a syntax, you would go to Google, check that syntax and get the thing done. So that is okay. Even when you work as a data scientist, you are allowed to use Google. But when you are doing your coding interview, you are not allowed to check any syntax. That's how the coding interviews work in the industry. So you should be well prepared to write Python codes without checking the syntax. And in that, topics like Python loops, Python functions, Python data structures like list, tuple, set, dictionaries. On all these topics, you should be able to write the code without checking any syntax. So make sure that you're putting a lot of effort in practicing the coding related to these topics without checking any syntax. You have to get used to it and keep the time boxing approach. So if you have decided to solve any Python problem by doing the coding right, give yourself a fixed amount of time that you have to solve it in 10 minutes. And then in 10 minutes, check what kind of thing you're able to achieve. And then next time, maybe try to get better at it. Because during the coding interview, you have to solve the problem within the specific timeline. You're not going to get infinite time. I have seen that people even struggle to solve problems which just need 2 for loops. I'm not even expecting the optimized solution. Even with just 2 for loops, if something can be solved, people are not able to solve it. And the main problem is sometimes people get into a thought process where they are trying to come up with best possible solution, which can be solved in the most optimized way. And in doing that, they end up not even able to solve that particular problem, which is a big issue. So first of all, in the coding interview, your focus should be trying to solve that problem. Once you do that, then you can try to optimize it. Because if you solve that problem, you get that chance of getting to the next round. Because very few people will solve it in an optimized way. So first of all, try to solve that problem. And there are a lot of portals like Geeks for Geeks, HackerRank, HackerEarth, LeetCode. You can go on those portals and try to practice at least simple and medium level problems. Don't practice even the hard level problems unless you are targeting the companies like Google, Meta and Amazon. But at least the simple and medium problems, you should be able to solve those without checking any syntax. Because 60% people, they are getting rejected in the coding round itself. So if you do well in that, you have chance of landing that data science job. Now, once people clear their coding round, the next round is mostly a technical discussion round. Now, in this round, you have to explain your projects, then you have to explain various machine learning models for which you will get questions during the interview. And I have seen that 50% candidates, they are failing in this particular round because they are not able to explain their projects in a right way. I have seen that people talk about their projects in a much robotic way. So for example, if I ask about, okay, can you please explain me this particular project? So there are two kinds of mistake which people are mainly doing. The first mistake is they are talking about their project in a robotic way rather than talking about it in a storytelling way. So if you say that, okay, I got the data and then I did the exploratory data analysis and then I did the missing value imputation and then I trained this machine learning model and this is the result I got. This is so robotic. If I ask you about some other project, you would talk about that project in the same way. You might just change the name of the machine learning model. As a data scientist, storytelling is one of the important skill set and that is evaluated when you explain your projects. And if you are giving interviews like that, you won't even understand that why you are getting rejected after the interview. The reason for that is you're not explaining your projects in the right way. You have to use the storytelling format. So start your pitch very high. You have to talk about what is the potential business impact. What is the use of that data science project to the industry? Then you talk about all the efforts that you have done in identifying the right kind of features. So for example, initially you might have used 10 features for building that model and it would have got you, let's say 80% accuracy. Then you can talk about, okay, how you improve the missing value imputation, how you identified the additional features and how it helped you in increasing the accuracy of that model. So tell that complete story. And Another thing is you have to tell all these things in 3 to 4 minutes. Please don't keep talking about your project for 10 to 15 minutes. That becomes really a one-side conversation or really boring pitch. You have to sell your project during a data science interview. So make sure that you are able to answer the project related questions really well. Then during the interview, interviewer would definitely ask you why you have selected particular feature, why you have selected particular type of machine learning model. Again, this is the question which many people are not able to answer in the right way. Then for many projects, it might happen that you have done those projects as your interest. So those are the open source projects. But still, if interviewer asks you that if you had done this project in the industry, how you would have deployed this project using a batch script or using an API, what could be the retraining frequency, all those questions you should be able to answer. I have seen that people are not even able to talk about these points when I ask those questions during the interview. Specifically, people who are trying to get into first data science job. But you should be able to answer those questions, guys. And 50% people, they are getting rejected just because they are not explaining the project in the right way. So in this, once the introduction part is done, when people explain their projects, at that point of time, you are getting rejected itself. So the interview is not even getting into technical depth. So you might be the best technical person in data science in the industry, but if you are not explaining your projects in the right way, you won't get that chance to land that data science offer. Now, the third reason for getting rejected in a data science interview is not having good idea of machine learning models. So for any machine learning model specifically which you have on your CV, you should be able to explain that model really well, that how that model is built, which are the hyperparameters, what is the cost function, what are the overfitting scenarios in that particular machine learning model. Then if you have to evaluate the performance of that model, which evaluation criteria should be used, which criteria are good for evaluating the model from the machine learning point of view, which criteria are good for communicating the results of that model with the industry. So you should be able to tell all those factors related to the machine learning models, at least those models which are on your CV. So please don't put list of all the machine learning models on your CV, because if you are putting models like CNN, deep learning, LSTM, and if you are not even able to talk about those, that would actually create a big problem for you during the interview. So put only those things on your CV which you are able to explain. That would help you in getting questions around the topics in which you are expert. So now the fourth part which results in the rejection after the data science interview is the behavioral round. So in the behavioral round, you would get questions around how your working style is, how you have handled the challenges in the past. So you should be able to explain all those challenges, all those scenarios in a right way. So I have created dedicated video for a behavioral interview. So please go and check that. That will give you clarity about what exactly happens in the behavioral interview. Then some companies, they also ask case study questions. I have created a dedicated video for that as well. So please have a look into it. Because if you are prepared on all those topics, guys, you would be able to crack that data science interview. And if you ask me why people are struggling to crack that data science interview, the number one reason is you are not well prepared for that data science interview. Many people, they still have that thought process that I would give few interviews and then I would figure out how I am doing, and then based on that I would try to prepare. Guys, this is not going to work in data science. You have to be well prepared before you start applying your data science rules. See, you would never be 100% prepared. No one can be ever 100% prepared for data science interview. But you should be prepared at least 70%, 80%, right? And then you start applying for the roles. Please don't directly start applying for the roles without doing any kind of a preparation, because that's not going to help you to land a role in data science. Companies are not going to give you high paying jobs if you're not able to crack that data science interview. So please understand this fact. Please prepare for data science interview. Please prepare for coding, the explanation of the projects, machine learning models, behavioral interview, case study. So these are the main reasons why people struggle. Now, in very few cases, sometimes it happens that, let's say the candidate is really good, but he or she is out of budget. So let's say that candidate is expecting 40 lakh salary with 3 years or 4 years of experience, but the company has budget of only 30 lakh. Now, in that case, it can happen that candidate gets rejected because the salary negotiation didn't go really well. So this can happen in very few cases, but this can still be one of the reasons why you are getting rejected after a data science interview. So these are the main things, guys, which I wanted to tell all of you. So please prepare thoroughly for the data science interview before you start your job application. And if you do that, I'm very sure you would get much better results than the kind of results you're getting right now. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.